Hey everybody, it's me, the real QSTORM. It's been a while since I put out a video, and all I can say is that I've been blessed. I've been really busy. I'm on the road right now. Got a huge shoot going on tomorrow. Just got back to the hotel room, and but hey, this is going to be a jacked up version of my videos. Not very professional. Got my iPhone set up, but I felt like I had to do a review of Suicide Squad. But Suicide Squad is killing it at the box office. I know it's over $100 and something million, and it beat out, I think it claimed the #1 spot this past weekend. So whatever I say, again, it's kind of moot. It doesn't really matter. The movie's making money. But I'm going to get into this review and let you know how I feel about it. So the only thing I knew about Suicide Squad was from the miniseries Legends by John Byrne. And that was way back in the mid-'80s when I was in college, back when dinosaurs roamed the planet. So I knew pretty much nothing about these characters. What I did know was that there was a lot of negative press about this movie. I was hoping it might have an irreverent tone, kind of like Kick-Ass, a movie I really liked, but I still had reservations about how a movie about villains in the lead roles would play, so I wasn't expecting much. But to my surprise, I found myself really enjoying the movie as the first act unfolded. It starts off with that kind of sticky, gimmicky attitude, not taking itself too seriously, what with graphic text introductions of characters and a retro soundtrack. The movie starts off with an amazing scene, a really good scene where Batman squares off with Deadshot. And although the scene ends with an over-the-top syrupy moment involving Deadshot's daughter, I found it brilliant and very character-defining. So Will Smith's Deadshot is a standout character. Then you have Harley Quinn, who's played wonderfully by Margot Robbie. Robbie brings much dimension to the insane Harley Quinn and is another standout. Then you got former RoboCop Joel Kinnaman, who does a great job as Colonel Rick Flag. I didn't really like him much as RoboCop, but here he's pretty great. He's the patriotic company man. He's kind of like the grimy Steve Rogers. I thought he was a standout as well. Unfortunately, that's pretty much where the interesting characters end. Okay, there's Amanda Waller, who's played by Viola Davis, who tries to make her character interesting by playing the role as a cool, unflappable, no-talking badass. But it comes off flat, emotionless. I'm sure the talented Viola Davis made a conscious choice to play the character in that manner, but she's just one note and way over the top. But I'm going to come back to that. There's also Diablo. He was interesting, but let me hold off on that as well. The rest of the squad was pretty pointless. None of them were given any backstory. Captain Boomerang's only purpose was to provide a fan service scene with the Flash. The character of Katana, she literally just walks onto the squad helicopter after a brief flashback. We learn her sword captures souls, she talks to it, not much more to see there. Slipknot, his powers are stupid, and he should have been wearing a Federation red shirt. Killer Croc, walking African-American stereotype in a reptile body. You'd think they'd give us some backstory on a guy who looks like that. No, let's just make him a jive-talking, hoodie-wearing character who, when offered anything he wants by the US government for his participation in the mission, what does he ask for? The BET channel in his cell. Which brings me to Diablo. They give us some poignant backstory with him, but this Hispanic character also is mired in stereotypes, which detract from his backstory. Does it make sense that he's covered in skeletal tattoos? Well, no. I do applaud David Ayer for not having the character utter the word Holmes at all. Holmes. But his character is pretty much pointless through most of the film. They also don't define his powers very well until they need to, and then he unleashes some what the powers. I really enjoyed the first act. Unfortunately, there is a second act wherein the movie completely falls apart. Why? Because there's a twist that's really stupid, for one. See, Amanda Waller orders the Suicide Squad to extract the high-level asset out of the middle of the city, which is under attack. And when they reveal who the asset is, it's like, really? Another reason for the movie falling apart is the villain, the Enchantress, a breakdancing, pop-locking female ripoff of the Ring movies. Yeah, Enchantress got skills. Can someone explain why she moves like that? When she's first introduced to the military leaders, it's kind of cool. She's kind of freaky looking, mysterious. I mean, she also looks kind of like a dirty female pigpen. She doesn't really play much of a part until the third act of the movie, and when she does come back on screen, she comes off as a second-rate gozer from the original Ghostbusters. Her plan is ridiculous: turn the human race into an army of blueberry-headed zombies by kissing each person one at a time. Meanwhile, there's a lot of clouds and flying overhead that I guess was really bad, I don't know. And then at one point, there's a fight between the squad and Enchantress, where all of a sudden she turns into a martial arts master. The scene is shot in the dark in a soup of smoke, so you can't see a damn thing really. The Enchantress is easily the worst villain to appear in a movie since the new Ghostbusters. Oh wait, maybe that's the Joker? I forgot he's in this movie too. Put it this way, I wasn't a fan of Heath Ledger's Joker. Anyone who knows me knows that. But Jared Leto's Joker makes me wish we could exhume Ledger's body, bring him to life via some Dormammu mystical and throw him back into the role. Leto is terrible as the Joker. He swirls his head around constantly. I guess to emphasize that he's supposed to be crazy. I complained about Ledger's scars. Leto has no scars at all. He does have the bone white skin, but what makes the Joker is the rictus smile, which is completely absent here. There was no reason for the Joker to be in this movie. At least not until the end, where he is given a legitimate purpose in the very last few seconds. Even though Joker and Harley are supposed to be lovers, it's almost embarrassing how much more chemistry there is between Harley and Deadshot, but we can attribute that to Margot Robbie and Will Smith, who take over this movie. Now, I will say, if this is the Joker that's going to appear in the solo Batman movie directed by Affleck, God help us. I mentioned the ethnic stereotypes, but I gotta touch on another issue I noticed: the misogyny. All the females in this movie were either subservient to men or they weren't in control of their faculties. Katana's purpose is to avenge her husband. She's motivated by her husband. She cries to her sword because her husband's soul is trapped within it. Not sure why she, as the wielder of the sword, can't free him. Harleen Quinzel is a renowned psychiatrist, but for whatever reason, she just can't resist Joker's charms and subjects herself to electroshock therapy by him, going insane in the process, as well as plunging into an oil of Olay acid bath to look like him. And when Flag gives the team the items they require to do their jobs, Harley gets a baseball bat and a skimpy costume, which she slinks into as the camera tilts down her body. June Moon must subjugate herself to become the Enchantress, and even then, the Enchantress needs her brother, Incubus, to help her out. Which brings me back to Amanda Waller. She's made into an incomprehensible murderer, and the only reason I can think of for the reason for doing this, for her shocking actions, is to counteract the less than desirable portrayal of the other women in this movie. Turning Amanda Waller into a killer is a way for the movie to say, see, no complaining, we do have an empowered female. I also found myself wondering, are these the metahumans you call on to stop a superhuman threat? I mean, Captain Boomerang? Deadshot and Harley Quinn are good with guns, but does that make them metahuman? If so, Los Angeles, Gary, Atlanta, Philadelphia, and Chicago are loaded with metahumans. This movie started off really good, but quickly runs off the rails. If this had simply been the Rick Flag, Deadshot, and Harley Quinn show, it probably would have gotten nearly 4 reels. But as it is, it gets 2.5 reels. And that's the martini.